I get it, you're looking at that sleek, wall-mounted projector combo on the screen and wondering if it's worth blowing a chunk of your budget on it, especially when you've already got a decent TV. You've probably heard the hype about laser-powered 4K home theater and are trying to decide if it's the kind of upgrade that will actually change the way you watch movies or game on the couch. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest hesitation most people have is the fear of ending up with a massive piece of tech that looks great on paper but turns into a constant source of frustration once it's in the living room. The projector market is a minefield of bright room versus dark room claims, easy setup promises, and a parade of specs that sound impressive until you try to use them on a weekday night with the kids' night lights on. That's why I spent a few evenings actually pulling together a typical family setup, sketching out where the projector would sit, how far the screen would need to be, and then walking through the software side of things. I wanted to see if this XGIMI Horizon 20 Max, paired with its 100-inch fixed-frame screen, lives up to the hype or just adds another gadget to the shelf. Let's start with the category itself. Home theater projectors have always been a bit of a love-hate relationship for most buyers. On one hand, the sheer size of the image a 100-inch screen can make you feel like you're actually inside the movie is unbeatable. On the other, you have to wrestle with ambient light, throw distance, and a sometimes clunky user interface. Most entry-level 4K projectors try to compensate with ultra-high lumens, but that often means a lot of heat and a noisy fan. The laser segment, where XGIMI sits, claims to solve those issues with brighter, more stable light sources, but the real question is how that translates to everyday use. Who should consider the Horizon 20 Max? If you have a dedicated media room, a home office that doubles as a viewing space, or a family living room where you're okay with dimming the lights a bit, this could be a solid fit. Gamers who want a larger than-life field of view without the input lag of a typical TV will also appreciate the Epic Gaming Performance badge. The fact that it runs a full Android system with Google integration means you can launch Netflix, YouTube, or a cloud gaming service without an extra box. Families that love weekend movie marathons will notice the color depth the lossless optics provide. The reds and blues stay vivid even after a couple of hours of viewing. Who should walk away? If you're renting an apartment, don't have a wall you can mount a 100-inch screen to, or you expect to move the setup around on a whim, the fixed-frame screen becomes a hassle. The Horizon 20 Max isn't a portable Pico projector you can slip into a backpack, it's designed to be a semi-permanent fixture. Also, if your living space is flooded with sunlight all day, even the daylight-ready claim has its limits. You'll still need blackout curtains or at least heavy blinds to get the best contrast. Finally, if you're on a tight budget, the price point of the Projector Plus screen will feel steep compared to a 65-inch OLED TV that can deliver HDR in a bright room. Now, let's talk about the actual setup I walked through. The projector itself sits about a foot off the floor on a sturdy shelf. The fixed-frame screen is a thin, matte white surface that snaps into a wall mount. The throw distance for a 100-inch image is roughly 2.5 meters, which works fine in a standard-sized living room. You'll need a power outlet within reach and, ideally, a short HDMI cable that runs from your console or streaming box to the back of the projector. What I liked most is that the Horizon 20 Max has an auto keystone feature. You can tilt the unit slightly, and it will digitally correct the picture, which saved me a few minutes of fiddling with the mount. On the software side, the built-in Google Assistant is more than just a gimmick. I could say, "Hey Google, play Stranger Things," and the projector launched the show straight from the Netflix app without needing a separate streaming stick. The Android OS also means you can install games directly, which is handy for quick coop sessions on the couch. The remote is fairly minimalistic, but the real control happens via voice or the XGIMI app on your phone, which lets you adjust brightness, switch inputs, and even calibrate colors on the fly. Brightness is where the triple laser claim shines, literally. The projector puts out enough lumens to fill a well-lit room, and I tested it with the lights on at about 300 lux. The picture still looked punchy, and the whites didn't wash out. The lossless optics help keep the image sharp even at the edges, so you don't get that funnel effect where the corners look dimmer. For gaming, I ran a fast-paced first-person shooter and didn't notice any ghosting or input lag beyond the